All right, well, hello everybody. My name is Andrew, and this is Eric, and we are those metal dudes, and here we are again to talk another week of metal. Right, so let's get started on this week in metal. I know Eric, he did his homework much better than I did.
I actually did metal news this time, so.
All right, well, cool. So I only got a couple things to really talk about. Just that, like on, I don't see it on your list, but April 10th, Iron Maiden's "Number of the Beast" ranked number 1 on the UK charts back in 1982.
Did it really?
Yes, it did.
Wow.
According to, I don't have it written down here, so I guess I can't tell you who's it's according to besides me.
I think you made it up. I think you got it off Wikipedia.
Well, there's a reason why that's not allowed in school, kids, so please don't use Wikipedia. Other than that, Van Halen released their 4th album, Fair Warning, on the 24th in 1989.
It's got Unchained. That's a great song.
Great song.
One of their best.
Go ahead, Art. Fill us in with a few more things.
All right. Well, this is actually going back to March 15th, but we didn't mention it. But Les Binks, former Judas Priest drummer, passed away on March 15th. He was 73. He played on 2 studio albums with Judas Priest, Stained Class and Hellbent for Leather, which is known in Europe as Killing Machine. They actually called it Killing Machine in Europe, but apparently that was too hardcore for America at the time, so they changed the album to Hellbent for Leather when they released it in America. Les is from Ireland, and on November 5th, 2022, he played a 3-song set with Judas Priest at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So it's kind of cool that they brought him back after all of those years for the Hall of Fame induction.
So he died after that, right?
Yeah. It'd be kind of hard to be there when he was dead. So, April 2nd, Kiss, Rock and Roll All Night, was released as the first single from their 3rd album, Dressed to Kill. And that's actually going to be, I think, one of the, that's debatable topics on a future episode.
What's too short of an album?
No, it's like, what songs do you think are classic rock songs, are like overplayed? They're good songs, maybe great songs, but it's like you couldn't care less if you never heard of it again. Just
Rock and Roll All Night. If I never hear it again, I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's it. So, April 2nd also was Tony Franklin's birthday. He was the bass player of Blue Murder and The Firm. April 2nd again, Phil Demmel's birthday. He's a guitarist of Machine Head. And also, same day, Bruce Franklin, the guitarist of Trouble. April 14th is Richie Blackmore's birthday, and he's obviously from Deep Purple and Rainbow.
From everybody's mother or something?
What's that? Maybe they're triplets. And April 9th, 2002, Motorhead released Hammered. April 11th, Iron Maiden released Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. April 14th, 1980, Iron Maiden released their self-titled album. And Judas Priest on the same day, April 14th, released British Steel, their 6th studio album. And April 14th in 1986, Judas Priest released Turbo, their 10th studio album. So Judas Priest actually released a lot of their albums in April. It's kind of strange. April 17th, 1982, Motorhead released Iron Fist. And April 23rd, 1977, Judas Priest released Sin After Sin, which is their 3rd studio album, which has on the Joan Baez cover Diamonds and Rust. And I actually really like that song. Obviously, I like it much better than the Joan Baez version.
Okay, so now we've got a tour announcement coming up. Eric, why don't you go ahead and let the people know what we got coming up here, or just was announced?
Yeah, no, and very excited about this. Alice Cooper had a few shows scheduled on the western side of the state in Michigan here. Judas Priest is one of my favorite bands. In fact, that's the band that got me into heavy metal. And so, kind of a surprise announcement for me, Alice Cooper and Judas Priest are going on a big tour this summer, so we're really excited about that. And they're going to be coming to Pine Knob on Thursday, October 2nd, and we will be there.
We will. Okay, so now we have a new release that not just Eric bought, but one that all the rest of you can by. Eric, what is this new release that we have for the people this week?
This is Billy Idol's newest album. It's called Dream Into It. And yeah, actually, this one just came out on Friday. Pre-ordered it, got it in the mail on Saturday, and listened to it.
This past Saturday?
Yeah, and well, yesterday.
Okay.
And so, it's actually kind of interesting. When I was growing up, my big three were it's story time. It's Eric's story time. So my big three were Billy Idol, Judas Priest, and Motley Crue. So I've been a big Billy Idol fan for many, many years. And this is his 9th album, but for how long he's been making music after the 80s, it's like he's gone through like long gaps of time without.
Right, that's just his 9th album.
Yeah, without releasing music. In recent years, he did do 2 4-song EPs. So if you combine them, that's 8 songs. So still not an album.
No.
There's only 9 songs on here.
Okay.
And so if you're a big Billy Idol fan, it's a little disappointing. You want more music. If you're a fan.
How did it sound?
Oh, well, the thing is, it's like this is probably the mellowest Billy Idol album that he's done. The last 2 were actually pretty rockin', and so it was kind of surprising. There's maybe like 2 rock songs on here. The last one's Still Dancing is probably like the most rockin' song, and so not really like a lot of his screams and stuff. But I guess my thing is, are the songs good? The songs are good. I like them, but definitely like a more mellow album from Billy.
All right. Okay, so last week was 2 weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
We went and saw a concert at the Machine Shop. We saw Michael Monroe.
Of Hanoi Rocks.
Of Hanoi Rocks. Yeah. And this was up in the Machine Shop. This was one of our favorite smaller venues that we love going to. It's in Flint, off Dorr Highway. It's got a raised stage, and then in the back where the merchandise is sold is also raised, so you can actually stand in the back and you can get a good view over the crowd. Sound's always good. People are always cool there. Love going to that place. It's an awesome place. If you've ever been to the Machine Shop, you can go check that out. As far as Michael Monroe went, I never really, I never listened to him at all, to be honest with you. And the only reason that I went to the concert was because Eric was really fired up about going to it. He was much more familiar with him, the music, and his history here with him not touring in the United States for almost like 10 years. So it was interesting show. He did come out and play the saxophone, which blew me, which I really didn't care too much for. The harmonica playing was good. He did a good job on that. And it was pretty good, but Eric can really speak more to the songs than I can.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll kind of mention the opening band first. The opener was Drat, which kind of a funny name, kind of like it, but that was like a straight punk rock band.
Yeah.
Not my style of music.
No.
I mean, as you know, most punk rock bands, they play it like at a faster tempo, so that part I like. But I think one of the key requirements of being in a punk band is you have to sing off key.
Well, he matched that.
So
he got that. And the lead singer did have a ton of energy for as old as these guys are, because it was not a young group by any means. And the lead singer, he was full of life. So that was cool. I have to give that. Outside of that, I didn't care for them at all.
Yeah, for punk rock, it's like, I don't know. To me, a lot of the songs just, not that I listen to it, but it's like I think they all kind of like sound very similar. So, but yeah, just definitely punk rock's not my thing. As far as Michael Monroe goes, for those of you who don't know, he was the singer of Hanoi Rocks, Finnish band, and Vince Neil had a car accident where he killed Razzle, the drummer, and that effectively ended the band. I heard they tried to do a couple of shows after that, but then Michael kind of looked back at the drum kit, and he's always good buddies with Razzle, and he got upset, so he couldn't continue. So then he went on a solo career. And he's actually been on a very prolific solo career. He's released a ton of albums solo. And so anyways, hadn't been in America for a long time. I really wanted to see him. And he's influenced like a lot of American bands like Motley Crue and Rat and like all these other bands. They speak so highly of him. And it's kind of ironic that I don't know what it is. Maybe they didn't promote him and his band here that much. But so anyways, we went. And this guy, I don't know if he's normally has that much energy. I mean, his energy was like, ridiculous. I think he's like 62, 63, and he's got the energy of a 20-year-old. So, amazing front man. And there was some feedback, actually really bad feedback on the second song.
Second song was terrible.
And I was surprised. I thought he was going to stop the song, because it was so distracting. And so then he's, stopped it. He finished the song, much to his credit. And the guy came out and fixed it up, and for the most part, for the rest of the show, it was pretty good. One song kind of came back a little bit, but other than that, sound was good.
Yep.
But as far as him, it's like so impressed as a front man. I mean, ton of energy, great with the crowd. The only thing is, I think like maybe some of the Hanoi rock songs is like sounded kind of similar to each other. But other than that, I thought he was great. I had a great time, and if he comes back, I'd definitely see him again.
I would probably pass.
Yeah.
I just outside of that one song, the first song I think it was, I was kind of done after that. And maybe it was because I wasn't as familiar with the music, but I mean, it was entertaining, but it's not something I would go and see again. But
Yeah.
anyway,
All right.
good show. If you want to go see if you get a chance to see him, like you said, it's like 10 years since he was last here, so I need to get on it. Okay, so next up we have our album reviews, and this week the album that I chose was Monster Magnet's Power Trip. Their fourth album that they put out. It's really where their biggest hits came from, Space Lord and Power Trip. I also really like the song Tractor. I think it's a pretty funny song. I think the album is entertaining. There's a lot of variety in the different styles of songs on there. They initially came out, they were known as stoner music, stoner rock. I don't really understand what that means, because clearly you don't have to be stoned to hear the music, and they certainly are not going to be the first band that was stoned while making any music. But either way, it's a really good album. If you're not familiar with Monster Magnet, you need to check them out. This is their fourth album. Eric, I know that this was new for you. What did you think of that?
No, and you're definitely right. I don't think I would consider them like, say, a traditional metal band. I think I would kind of maybe not to I like to put labels on like genre.
But here we go.
Yeah, but I would call them like a '90s rock band. But
Yeah.
I think that they definitely rock enough that that they meet the requirements of our show. So just like you mentioned, I liked it better than I thought I would. So. I like the creativity. One of the things that I don't like is that I'm sure we all have some of our favorite bands where the songs sounds very similar, the whole album.
Yes.
Not these guys. It's
Nope.
like the songs were completely different throughout the album. So that creativity part is like, I really liked. Power Trip, I think, was the first single, and that's probably the most rockin'
Of them all, yeah.
song on the album. So I liked
Space Lord.
that one, Space Lord. A little slower, but also a good song.
Mhm.
Baby Gutter Damarung is a slow song. Even though these aren't fast-paced metal songs, I like 19 Witches and
Yep.
Third Eye Landslide. And I mentioned to Andrew previously, See You in Hell started off with like a 1960s keyboard. They kind of reminded me of like the Yardbirds and bands of that era.
Right.
And the funniest thing is I actually liked it. I liked the song. I thought it was kind of cool. So. Tractor, like you mentioned, is rocking. Atomic Clock is more of a mid-tempo rock, but I like that as well. And even though it's not like a traditional metal album or anything, I really like the creativity part. Since it's not more, my style, I might not listen to a whole lot, but because I thought like the music was so impressive. Oh, and also his voice, he doesn't have like a lot of range, so it's like he kind of sings in the same tone on all of the songs, but it fits the music.
Right.
And so I'll give it a 7, just because of the quality of the album. It's not my style, but I know it's a good album.
Yeah, it's definitely an album I go to all the time. I love this album. I listen to it several times a month. It's just
Wow.
it's one of my favorite albums. I would give it 8 horns up. If they had more big hits on this album, I could easily rank it higher, but it does only, outside of the three main songs on this album, which still makes it a good album. There's other songs on here that are just worth listening to. So, yeah, very good, excellent. I was shocked. I wasn't sure how you were going to feel about that one.
You thought I'd been a rag on it.
Yeah, I thought for sure, especially with the different types of the different styles in there and the whole album, how with the variety and everything. I thought it was going to put you off, but very good. All right, well, Eric, what album did you have to share with us?
All right, well, my selection was Armored Saints' Revelation album. And for those that know me, you know that I'm a huge Armored Saint fan. I love this band. So anyways, getting to the review, the album starts off, the first three songs are bangers. I mean, just rock out. And so that's, when I just started falling in love with it. So initially when I picked this one, I think this is probably my favorite Armored Saint album. And,
really?
And at first I'm going to go, it's like, oh, this is a 10. Because I love the, those songs so much, that I listened to. But after I went back and listened to it for this review, I remember those few songs that I skipped because they were a little slower, and the ones that started off acoustic, and still, love the band, love the album. So, but I can't give it a 10. And it's just, my taste. I don't like acoustic. I don't like slower tempos. It's like musically they're still great, I think. So I'm going to give this album a 10, an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. But
I'm not sure anybody can believe you anymore.
it changes constantly. So what do you think?
Well, I wasn't as impressed with it as you. I didn't. The first couple songs, some of the way they flowed, I didn't care for very much. I did like.
Really?
Yeah, I did like the Pay Dirt. I thought was, especially I didn't care for when you get to the chorus. That I didn't like the way that was. The Pillar, the next song, really liked the melody during the lyrics part, but when they got into the pre-chorus and the chorus, that's when it changed from completely. The song changed. I don't know. There's something about it I just didn't care too much for.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, No Me Digas is the one where they start off with the acoustic flamenco style guitar. Yes, it's No Me Digas. That's how that's said.
Yeah. Do you know what that means?
Don't tell me.
No, I don't know.
Okay, no, you don't know, so don't tell me. No, that one threw me just because all the way up to it was a metal album, and then all of a sudden here comes some flamenco guitar. So I don't have a problem with listening to flamenco guitar when I'm listening to that kind of music, so that kind of threw me. I did think the rest of the song was good though. This album to me, I think they had better ones out there than this, but it was a good listen for me. I didn't realize that this album was out there, so without you bringing this up, I wouldn't have listened to this album. So that's always a cool thing. I don't know, it wasn't too bad. It was better than your pick last week, so kudos to that. So I'll give it 7. And maybe I just need to listen to it more to get more of a feel for music. I find with some albums, especially albums I'm not familiar with, it takes me several times going through them to really get a good feel. And I will change my opinion after listening to it, an album after a few runs, because I'd be more familiar with the sound. But I like this one. Definitely like this one better than your Easy-O of last.
So what score did you end up giving Easy-O? I don't remember.
That had to been like a negative 300 million,
oh
767,000 or something like that. I don't remember what it was either. But all of you can go back and watch the other video, and if you haven't, and do so. And I guess we should have said this at the very beginning. We should have thanked everybody for liking our videos and for subscribing and for being there for us. We really appreciate it. We did get a few comments. I have had a couple comments from other people that I work with or talk to that gave us some ideas, and we're working on them. And hopefully you see some improvements in our quality otherwise we're going to have to fire our producer, our director, and our editor. So...
That's me. It's gonna be that metal dude.
All right, so that's our albums for this week. Let us know how you feel about these albums. Drop us comments. Let us know if you have albums you want us to review. and we'll see about getting those on for you. All right, so now we're here. We're going to do our That's Debatable segment, and we've got three topics that we're going to talk about today. The first one, that your order seems to be a little different than mine, so we're going to go with mine since I'm talking. So the first one, these were Eric's ideas, because I forgot a little black book that had our ideas written down. So
these must be the good
so
ideas.
So if they are bad, then you guys know they all came from Eric.
No.
Anyway, but no, these are three subjects we're going to talk about today. So the first one is who you feel are the best three frontmen, or pick three frontmen that you think are just awesome out there, I think, in the metal world. So for me, I guess I kind of was going more towards metal, so I wouldn't have picked like David Lee Roth, who I thought is a great rock frontman, or Steven Tyler, again, because I feel like that is more of a rock, and we're looking at heavy metal, but once again we're splitting hairs and calling and labeling music to whatever, and we listen to all of it, and we're going to talk about all of it, so we don't really care. If I was going to add that, I would say Diamond Dave would be one of the number ones, but the three that really impressed me are Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson, and Blackie Lawless, and those are also three of my favorite bands too, so maybe that's part of it. In that, this is also a question that came up to me in a group of my friends, and who asked on Facebook, he had posted who we all thought was the best frontman in metal, and my first pick was Mr. Halford. So
really,
yes, that was.
Oh.
Yeah, except I used his full name to try and throw people off. But, or make me look smarter.
What, Robert? You call him Robert?
I used all four of his names. But anyway, so those were the three that I picked. Obviously, you can make arguments for so many more, but Eric, who did you think?
Yeah, so I kind of proposed this question, and this isn't necessarily the best singer, but who's the best frontman? Like who works the crowd, who's got like a lot of energy and kind of get the crowd all pumped up and stuff. So just from like frontman, say, skills, if you can think about it. And even though Judas Priest is the band that got me into heavy metal, and I think Rob Halford, as far as a singer, it's like, tremendous, maybe the best metal voice of all time.
So who are your three frontmen?
So, but as far as frontmen go, it's like, especially in his later years, he doesn't move around that much. And so basically my top three, I think, would be David Lee Roth is number one. It's like, I think, he's fantastic. Yep. He's up there with a big smile on his face. He loves what he does.
Yep.
He has a lot of fun. He has a lot of fun with the crowd. And so he's number one. And I think the other two are going to be, I think Paul Stanley's great too. He's got a lot of energy running around on stage. And I'll say Alice Cooper. And, we've gone to Alice Cooper shows, and what I like about him is he puts on a show.
Performance.
Yeah, and so it's like, with Alice Cooper, it's not just a concert. I call it like a rock and roll haunted house
show.
Yeah, and so it's like, as far as like the production and everything like that, he puts on a great show, and so that's why I'll put him as the other best frontman.
And when we can afford, when our budget, we get approved for our new budget, we'll actually put a little board up and we'll write down so that we can actually have it posted for people to see, and then it'll be really official.
Yeah.
Right, not just on paper.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so as we threw different names out there, different bands all together, and I'm sure you can come up with three that would be just as good. Let us know. Comment. Who do you think are the best frontmen out there? So our next one this is more closer to Eric than myself, thoughts. But should bands keep singers who basically have lost their voice, right? Is that what we're kind of saying? Is that, now they can't sing anymore, so do you replace them? Move on without them? We've all seen, we haven't seen, but we've all heard how it's been with Vince Neil coming back to Motley Crue, and just what a mess that has been. So at what point does Motley Crue say, hey, Vince, drop 50, or we're getting ourselves somebody else, because we can't have you huffing puffing on the stage. We need you to sing, right?
That's pretty funny. Yeah, no, and I agree. It's he should have like stopped a long time ago. But and then one thing I was actually thinking about the last couple of days was, you know what? It's like they still go on tour. People still pay to see him. I mean, he's still bringing the crowds in, even though it's like they're just up there struggling. And Vince Neil, Don Dokken.
Oh boy, was he bad.
Oh.
When we last saw him.
Struggling. And, I get it's like they get older, they can't hit those high notes anymore. But
So don't.
Yeah, so just like Vince, it's like, he skips words in his songs because he can't
breathe.
Can't breathe. And so it's like, he just needs to stop. But like I said, it's like, well, people are still going to see him. I won't see them anymore. And it's so just
Which is odd. If you know Eric, to hear him say he won't see Motley Crue is like, wow.
Yeah, no, and it's like they were one of my favorites,
Yeah.
Growing up and stuff like that. And I'll go back and listen to like some of their early albums, recently and stuff. And like, I forgot what a cool band they were, back in the day. I've seen Mark Slaughter a couple of times, or Slaughter in recent years, and I don't know if it was like at the end of a tour, but both times it's like he was really struggling, and he sang so high, and I was never a big Slaughter fan, but it's like gosh, he really struggled, and it's been a few years since I've seen him. And I know, to bring up Blackie, Blackie Lawless, he even admitted that he does use backing tracks, and I think we both agree on this. It's like, I came to see a live performance, so it's like, I don't want backing track, well, maybe I should stop, and that should be like another debate for topic.
Well, we do know all the bands from way back didn't have that technology to use, so if they can do it, the bands today can do it.
And I know that they're under like a lot of pressure. Some people gripe that they don't sound like they do on the album, and so then maybe they start doing things like that. It's almost like taking steroids for sports. It's like you're kind of cheating.
Right.
But so that's
gives you better experience. Who knows?
Yeah, and so that's it. As far as that goes, it's like, I get it. They might still want to make a living. Some fans are still excited to see him. So, but as far as me, it's like, I don't know. I don't really want to go and see a band or singer that's struggling. I mean, that's just me. So.
No, it makes sense, because do you want to go see a band where the drummer can't stay in time, or the guitar player, he's playing whatever notes or chords, and it's just like, wait a minute, are we playing the same song here? So yeah, when your singer can't sing, maybe it's time to move on from your singer and find somebody else, or just put it all down.
Yeah.
Give it up. So our last topic today, I know is a very popular one, and I know people have very strong feelings about this one, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Come on.
I'm thinking we both agree on this one.
That is it should not be called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It should be called the pop music, or some, all genre music, or whatever you want to call it. It's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you've got rock bands that should be in there that are not, and pop stars that are in there that should not be. Just not. The place is cool until you walk around and you see the displays, and the boy bands are all their, I would call them uniforms, their costumes, their little whatevers are there, and it's just kind of like, how can you put that next to Metallica? Right? How do you put that? It's...
Well, the fact, just like you said, they put, number one, the name's misleading, because they're putting other genres in, like rap, hip hop. It's like, that's not rock and roll. So number one, if anything, change the name to Music Hall of Fame, but it certainly isn't rock and roll.
Not a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And then you're putting in artists from different genres, again, like other that don't belong there, that had like a short career, and then you have bands like Judas Priest, that's been around forever, put out a ton of albums, been incredibly
good albums.
Yeah, great albums, incredibly successful, and they just got in 2022, just a couple of years ago.
It's a crime.
Yeah, and they put out like 10 times the records as some of these other artists and stuff. So it's like, it's a joke. I went there once shortly after it opened, wasn't impressed, won't go back. If they're putting these other goofballs in, well, that's the other thing too, is hard rock and heavy metal is severely neglected, and so it's like,
it's more of a popularity thing than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's more who is a popular group, that's who we're putting in.
Yeah, so I think you and I agree on this one. I think
Yes.
it's a big joke.
It is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and suck it.
So thumbs down.
Okay, and finally, this week there are a few concerts coming up that Eric and I will be attending. Not necessarily all going to all three of them, but we will be attending these concerts coming up, and then we will give reviews and maybe post some videos from some of these onto our page. You've seen that we already did that. There's a couple Michael Monroe videos that got posted. So Eric, what do we got coming up this week?
All right, well, I've got AC/DC on Wednesday, April 30th, and I'm super excited about that. This is my first time. This has been a bucket list item, and I thought I missed my chance when Brian Johnson had his hearing issues. I actually bought tickets to go see them at the Palace last tour, and then that's when Brian Johnson had his hearing issues. And then they said, well, Axl Rose is going to,
That's
going
not
for
AC/DC.
yeah, and that's what I thought. So it's like Axl Rose is going to take the place of Brian Johnson, and then they said, well, you can go to the show or you can get a refund. And I said, like, well, I want a refund because that's not AC/DC.
Right.
And then we're both going to be seeing Great Whites in Flint on Friday night, May 2nd. And this is obviously there was two Great Whites, so they split up, and Jack Russell had his own. Rest in peace, Jack.
Right.
And so then this is the rest of the band, and so these are all going to be like previous members. I think Mark Kendall, the guitar player, he's like the big blonde guy, and so it's like him and other previous members of Great White. So that should be a lot of fun on Friday. And then I'm also going to be seeing Graham Bonnet Sunday, May 4th at the Token Lounge. I'm a big fan of Graham Bonnet. He's got a great voice. And I actually did sing on two of my favorite bands' albums in Pelletieri. So
Very
we
good.
sing on two albums, yeah.
So that's all for this week. We tried to make it a little shorter. I see we didn't do that. We'll have to work on this a little bit more. Maybe stay focused on our topics at hand instead of just wandering around a little bit. But we'll be better. Every week we'll be better. So we thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, be a part of this. Just get into discussions with us, talk to us, let us know what you think about things. And all we got us to say is rock on.
Stay metal.